You are entering a dimension of sound. You carefully come in through the threshold with wonder, yet skepticism. You see the faint shape of an outline of a robot arm petting a cat. You faintly hear the haunting sounds of a man playing a tambourine. The sound augments into two men playing with a soundboard. You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Stay a while and listen. And now, where Nephilim news meets biblical views, you'll find broken memes and shattered dreams. Give it up for Basil and Gons.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is February 19th, 2020, episode 177. And this week, Flippy Thievery and VR Disclosure. My name's Basil.
And this is Gons. Welcome to the podcast where the only political thing you'll hear is transhuman.
Yes, we get very political when it comes to transhumanism. But first, Gons, I want to give a little update here. We said we mentioned last week that wonderful listener and masterful craftsperson Pearl sent us, mailed us some very cute baby Yoda dolls that she created.
Yes,
she crocheted rather, and everybody loved it. And she loved it. Hi, Pearl. Good to talk to you right now. Pearl and Company. She said her son was listening when we gave a shout out last week. So what's up, Pearl's son?
Hey, Pearl. Hey, Pearl's son.
And we asked her to send us her Etsy shop because these were great. And I will say on the Facebook group, she made it very clear, and we all understand that she wasn't trying to get plugs for her Etsy shop. But you know, if we don't advertise, we don't do anything. We're poor children. But you know, it's worth advertising a listener's Etsy shop. So if you guys want to see the super cool Baby Yoda dolls that Gons and, I'm assuming Samurai Warrior Princess has adopted the Yoda doll.
She has hers, and I'm holding yours, which will be delivered to yours.
Yes. And, pop that sucker in the mail because I need it.
Yes. It's become part of our family.
Her Etsy shop, which I recommend people go check out, is PP and J Designs. PP, 2 P's, and J Designs. Check it out on Etsy. She's got, that's where you'll find these cute Yoda dolls. And I will say, after checking out her Etsy shop, of course, Etsy wanted me to see all the other Yoda dolls that are being created on Etsy, of which there are many. But I will say this, and this is, again, this is a compliment to Pearl. Some of them are the literal most terrifying things I've ever seen.
Specifically, one titled "Large Baby Alien" is
yes.
They don't even claim it's Yoda. It's
another fun thing. Because Yoda is owned by Disney, they're very litigious with their copyright law. Mm-hmm. So there's a number of Baby Yoda dolls available on Etsy, which nobody should buy any of them except for the one from PP and J Designs. But yeah, apparently you can't say Baby Yoda on Etsy. We have Baby Alien. The Child Space Goblin is my favorite fake name for a Baby Yoda. Baby Alien, a lot of Baby Alien stuff. Let's see, there's one called Not Baby Yoda, which I think they are walking the line. But a lot of them, I don't know, a lot of them just really have crossed the line to creepy goblin doll.
Yeah.
And not adorable Baby Yoda that we all love.
Yep.
So there you go. Everybody go to PP and J Designs. Pearl, thank you so much for the Baby Yoda dolls.
Thank you,
and
Pearl.
Everybody go check it out. Wow, she's got 5 stars. She's got 5 stars and 193 reviews. So
it's not the best one.
Yeah, go to PP and J Designs, not just because we say so, but she's very highly rated on Etsy. So good job. Okay, Gons, time to get into the show. It's time for a Flippy update.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
That's right. And today, Gons, an actual Flippy update. This is an update on Flippy proper. For those who don't know, Flippy is the beloved disembodied robot arm that is stealing all of our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. So Flippy, the OG Flippy, this is on geek.com. The headline reads, Flippy, the burger flipping bot, raised another 10 million, comma, will steal your job.
And steal your line.
Yeah, geek.com is stealing my tagline for Clippy.
Clippy.
Nope. Clippy is dead. The long defunct Microsoft Word helper. Clippy, get out of here. Flippy, you're in. It's in 2020. So not a whole lot to report here, except for Flippy. Let's see. Miso Robotics, the creator of Flippy, the company behind the Lil Boy. What? Lil Boy, Lilboi. Hold on, just gonna have to do a quick search for Lil Boy from Miso Robotics because I need to know what that is.
And they have a video here of the robot in action, and it's very interesting. It's a greasy, messy job.
Flippy got some upgrades. Miso Robotics have now secured an additional $10 million in capital to help bring their bot to more restaurants, stealing countless jobs in the process. So this writer at geek.com is totally on board with how Flippy is going to ruin the economy. Yes, and they have a new, what is this? A marketing video thing where there's a business owner. It all sort of centers around a business owner who is integrating Flippy in, and they made sure to show that Flippy works alongside your chef. It doesn't replace your chef. But you follow this business owner installing Flippy. Flippy is new and improved, very lightweight looking, with a new burger flipping utensil on the end of its arm, doing a very good job. They need to teach Flippy how to clean the grill, though, because the grill in this video is filthy. I wouldn't recommend anybody eat at this filthy establishment.
Yeah, you'd think if you're going to get video footage, you'd stage it so you make it look nice and clean.
Yes,
but this was this must have been a few burgers.
It was a budget job.
Yeah,
budget job.
Walking
on the
in a couple hours late.
Yeah. So there you go. Flippy is got a bunch of money. He's got fat, deep pockets with $10 million. And I like this. Geek.com, whoever's writing this is probably listens to the show, because the end of the article reads, in 30 years, it isn't even really clear how the economy will work at all. Referring to, with all the robotics getting put in there, what's the economy even going to look like? Maybe tax the robots and use universal basic income as a stopgap. Hard to say, but if we can survive the impending nightmare, there's a small chance we'll end up in a Star Trek style future where most things are bright and cheery and money doesn't exist, but instead we have to worry about the Borg. That's way too stressful. That's right. I think he got it right. We might have, a Star Trek utopian future, but even in Star Trek, you got to look out for the cyborgs, the transhumans.
Are you ready to become cyborg?
That's right. They're coming for you. Jean-Luc Picard. New Jean-Luc Picard show coming out, by the way.
That's right.
Kind of excited about that.
Yeah. Are you?
All right. That's all Flippy.
All Flippy. Okay. Well,
all Flippy all the time.
I got kind of depressed listening to you report that, because we live in a world where a robot arm can raise 10 million, but a couple podcasters are just really
yeah, what the heck,
having a hard time at it. Very depressing.
Yeah.
Depressing times, ladies and gentlemen.
Flippy has more money and more employment opportunities than you and me combined.
We're just not productive. We just don't contribute to society in the way Flippy can.
I know. Our boss was right.
Yeah.
All right.
Transhuman, make way for the Homo superior.
TribLive.com, lesser known presidential candidate debate slated for March in Chicago. As you guys know, we track the transhuman creeping into the Republican Party and and the whole thing there. But this little obscure debate is something we might just kind of keep an eye on. Yeah,
referencing Zoltan Istvan, the transhumanist, former leader of the Transhumanist Party, now running for president as a Republican.
Right. Yeah, right. And this article states, just because they aren't on CNN, Fox News, and MSNBC all day doesn't mean they aren't running for president. And it gets into a few different people that are going to be amongst this debate that's happening on March 5th. And one of them, obviously, Zoltan Istvan. But one of his opponents, Basil, and we might have reported on this guy before.
We've mentioned him before.
His name is Vermin Supreme. And in fact, his full name is Vermin Love Supreme. And he's reported here as a performance artist running as a libertarian and espousing the libertarian philosophy of the individual's sovereignty over his or her own life. Through satire and humor, I present real issues with fantastical context, in-depth analysis, and a dose of much-needed humor in the political sphere. With thought-provoking activism, I stand against the tyrannical duopoly, the violent police state, and all forms of overreaching government.
I like this guy.
Yeah, this sounds like a guy that might listen to the show. So we're going to keep track on
sounds like
Vermin
he and I
Supreme.
have a lot in common.
Maybe he is. Maybe you are him.
I could be. Yeah, maybe he's me from the future.
There you go.
That's actually okay. We got to put a. Yeah. All right. We got to look at this guy more. we got to put his picture up somewhere because he might be me from the future.
It's possible.
Just go ahead and Google search Vermin Supreme, and you'll see the guy. He's run for president. He's got a great logo. He's run for president, I want to say 3 or 4 times, and it's always sort of as this satirical thing. But I recommend
he's been doing it since
check him
2000 or something, 2004 or something like that.
He's been doing it a long time. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. And he has a shop. Get stuff with my face on it. I gotta get stuff with his face on it. Okay. Tell me about
his name is Vermin Love Supreme. He's going to be debating Zoltan Istvan, and I would love to see that debate. There's a third person, Brian Carroll. He's not as fun though. He's the least
interesting.
He's like, let's balance capitalism and socialism. That is our goal for this global policing.
Get out of here, Brian. Nobody wants to hear your voodoo.
Zoltan versus Vermin. Who will win?
Yeah.
There you go.
Being on a stage, I would not want to be Brian Carroll on a stage with Zoltan Istvan and Vermin Supreme.
You're just by your name, you're already outclassed.
I mean, look at this. He's using terms like middle ground and balance and all these things. You cannot be a moderate on a stage with Vermin Supreme and Zoltan Istvan. You might as well be a coat rack standing in front of a microphone.
At least maybe the facilitator.
Brian Carroll. I keep getting his name wrong. Brian Carroll, if you listen to the show, send me an email. I don't mean to be so mean.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's happening. So stay tuned. And then I got one more real quick. This is just a headline, and maybe we should make a little quick jingle for this in the future. Headlines. We're not going to read the story. We're not going to give context. We're just going to read headlines.
Read the headline and then just hit the next jingle.
Right. Okay. The next jingle. All right. That's you got it.
Yeah. We'll move on fast.
Okay. So this is hrtechnologist.com. Kronos, spelled Kronos, recognized as North America Company of the Year 2020.
Okay, maybe we should take a second to talk about that. That was not as wacky.
Well, we're not supposed to give it context. We let the listeners do their own research.
Okay, yes. Well, hopefully, listeners, you have deep knowledge of both Greek mythology and transhuman agendas, which, I mean, this sounds like our audience.
Yeah, well, if you've read some of Sharon Gilbert's fiction stories, science fictions, then
Yes.
you'll also
Okay.
recognize Kronos with the K.
All right. That's a deep cut for somebody. So there you go, insiders. All right. You played the VR jingle. So this is the story that we wanted to cover last week, but we went horribly over time, radically over time, I would say. So we didn't have time, but we got all sorts of time this show. Headline reads, South Korean show reunited mother with deceased daughter in virtual reality. Okay, so we're going to try to hit the balance between sensitivity, but also doing our good work we do here. The article reads, if you had the chance to reunite with a deceased loved one in virtual reality, would you? A South Korean documentary called Meeting You broadcasted the emotional reunion of a mother and an avatar of her daughter who died in 2016 at the age of 7 from an unidentified illness. Jang Ji-sung, the mother of 4, wore a VR headset and gloves that allowed her to see, hear, and touch the digitized version of her daughter. Zhang was filmed in front of a green screen and formed her hands as though she was holding the girl's face. The documentary, which aired on the Munhwa Broadcasting Corporation, aims to reunite grieving relatives with lost family members. Britain's Telegraph newspaper reported that the duo spent some time in a digitized park. The Daily Mail reported that the girl interacted with her mother and told her that she missed her. The mother grew emotional and replied, "I miss you too." The girl eventually tells her mother that she is tired and falls asleep. During the filming, Zhang's husband and one of her other children watched from the audience and were also brought to tears. Quote, "Maybe it's a real paradise," Zhang said. Quote, "I met Nayeon, her daughter, who called me with a smile for a very short time, but it's a very happy time. I think I've had the dream I've always wanted." Dr. Blay Whitby, a technology ethicist from the University of Sussex, told the Mail that the show raises some concern. He said the virtual reality aspect of reuniting with a deceased loved one is new ground and the long-term psychological toll is unknown. We just don't know the psychological effects of being reunited with someone in this way. And that's the end of the article. But we watched the video. They put out a pretty substantial video of this last week or the week before, and it is just what it sounds like. The mother was wearing a VR headset, and the filming is done, so it looks like she is in. Now, again, this is where we I want to try to be a little sensitive, but the park that they met in was a little creepy. It was like at twilight. It was a weird time to be in a park. It's kind of dark and spooky. The whole atmosphere was kind of spooky.
It wasn't like a heavenly scene where you imagine bright clouds and stuff like that. It was more of a dusk kind of feel.
And here's the thing, okay? This was done for entertainment. It was put on TV. So
how much of it do we know is
no matter what you say, if you're putting something on TV, there is an aspect of entertainment that you're trying to bring, or else people won't watch it, and there's no point to do it.
You need to invoke those emotions as much as possible, whatever emotion they're going for.
Right. So in this park, it's kind of weird. It's a little dark. It's very surreal. Honestly, to me, it was kind of creepy. And the mom sits down. She's in the park with the daughter, and they sit down. They have like a birthday cake for the daughter. And the daughter is, little, I guess little Korean girl, is about 7 years old. And they just and there's a bed in the park, which is also kind of surreal and weird. And she spends some time just talking with her daughter, touching her daughter, hanging out. They play a little bit and have these conversations. And here's the thing. I play a significant amount of video games, both for research and for pleasure. And the scene of this felt like a cutscene from a video game that was going to end with some sort of horrible zombie coming out and getting you. So it was kind of a weird vibe. But as we mentioned in the article, very emotional time for the whole family. And eventually the daughter falls asleep on the bed that's in the park, and a little sort of glowing butterfly, sort of symbolizing her soul, kind of flies away, and the mother is able to, as dawn is breaking, able to say goodbye to, I guess, the spirit of her daughter, this butterfly flying away. And then it ends. So it's very intense, very intense. And, we've broached this subject before. In fact, there's been talk of this kind of programming before when it comes to, using VR to manufacture emotional experiences where, I don't know, whether or not the intention is good or bad, which I think people are trying to do good. But I think the psychologist called it, which is, we don't know. This is a new thing in human history.
Yeah.
And we don't know the kind of psychological effects that this will have. And you're also kind of giving over your emotional life to programmers.
Programmers, exactly. At all levels, just not just the technology side of it, but also you can
the emotional
the people
side,
that produce everything
the script
that
writing, the economic structure around games and entertainment. It's just a weird thing to be doing, to be letting look, I'm gonna be funny for a second. You're letting a bunch of nerds manipulate your emotions. And again, maybe this is helpful. And losing a daughter, especially a young child of some kind, is incredibly difficult. I mean, probably the hardest thing,
unimaginable,
unimaginable pain. And so, I don't blame this woman or really anybody involved for wanting this to be a good experience. But I am just a little uncomfortable with being like, okay, bunch of engineers, why don't you spend a bunch of time looking at pictures of my dead daughter and recreate her so I can play with her in this park for an hour and have millions of people watch me do it.
I think especially for people like you and I who do a lot of back end media and production and, art things, that we know the kind of time and detail that goes into a type of experience.
The time and detail, and also irreverence.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not like holding a vigil as they are designing this copy of your daughter for you to, play with in this park.
Right.
So I don't know. There's just a lot of weird stuff surrounding this, and it plays into this, the I don't know. I'm not going to say the fear, but the concern that we have about the manufactured emotional life that VR has the potential to bring to a massive scale of people throughout the world. And, there's philosophical arguments to be made about, all of our emotional life is manufactured in one way or another. I mean, I get sad and I eat 10 cheeseburgers. That's an emotional, a manufactured emotional cheeseburger experience.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
But, so, I mean, this is a deep philosophical discussion that we can't necessarily hit all the points of in this episode, but it's just a little weird. I don't know.
Well, I think
I hope it was good for her. I hope it's helpful.
I mean, watching the documentary, I got emotional watching it just because you sort of assuming, and I always do this, I always fall into the emotion, but then I take a step back and think, okay, I know that this is all played, put together for the film, whatever else. But in terms of assuming that this is like a real person having this real experience and of losing their daughter. But I guess the part of it that I can't maybe relate to is why would you want to do this? Why would you want to volunteer for this type of thing? This is almost like emotional torture. It's like
just closure stuff. Yeah,
I guess closure stuff. Yeah. But
it's certainly not
that's just a personal thing. Yeah. But in terms of how, as the psychologist says, how it affects us down the line, that thing itself, that one of the main concerns with transhumanism and the VR is the have and have nots, and the people that can afford to have these types of experiences. I wonder how many people saw this kind of thing and could relate and said, I want to do that. I want to have some kind of VR experience. Yeah, and hey, that might be a whole market of people putting together a whole,
industry. It's a whole industry. It's kind of eternal sunshine of the spotless mind.
Yeah, but I can imagine whole memorials where people are on VR headsets and they have this VR experience with the deceased and have a departure type of thing or whatever. And it's kind of weird.
Well, if there is a situation where if I was terminal and I knew I was going to pass, I could be tempted to bring some VR specialists in and do people to remember. Do my own eulogy. Everybody puts on their VR headsets. Yeah, and everybody puts on their VR headsets, and I'm up there. I give my own eulogy, and then I just sort of float up into the sky and, get into a robot suit and blast off into space with my laser eyes. I don't know.
And then you hit the firmament.
Actually, I'm turning around on this idea now. I might be totally into this.
Always ends with an exit strategy. Anyway,
Gons. So you have an ending here. I do want to say we do have an update. Let's do this update in the extended report about disabled people working through VR and robotics.
Yes.
We're going to hit that. I forgot to put it on the list. We're going to hit that in the extended report. We're going to do a double duty extended report this week. So, hit your last thing and I'll give the rest after that.
All right.
Nephilim update.
This is a real quick one because we've reported on the show Supernatural a lot because it's they got Nephilim and all kinds of stuff. But this is CBR.com. Supernatural. Spoilers. Return promises doom for God with a capital G.
Doom for God with a capital
Doom for
G.
God. So
I think it speaks for itself.
I don't think. Yeah, just as a show that reports on these issues, we need to have a rebuke type of a sound effect.
I rebuke thee.
And that's all we can say is come on.
That could be pretty much every Nephilim update. You just read the headline and then just play the "I rebuke thee" jingle.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, somebody get on it.
We need that.
We need I rebuke thee.
I rebuke thee, and once we have that, we can really start to go at these headlines because come on, doom for God, please.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
Okay. So as I mentioned before, people, we're doubling up on this week's extended report. If you don't know, now you know. Head over to patreon.com/CCNT. We are entirely listener supported. We do not believe in advertising, which means we turn you, our beloved listener, into a product that then we sell to corporations. That doesn't sit right with us. So we invite and urge everybody that if you listen to this show, you get anything out of this show. If you've listened to one episode, if you listen to 10 or 177, now is the time. Head to patreon.com/CCNT. You get hundreds of bonus episodes as well as a bunch of other cool rewards. So again, please head over to patreon.com/CCNT and we'll be putting out an hour-long episode this week. So you're going to want to do that. And there's over 100 bonus episodes waiting for you. And on that extended report, a long time ago, we warned the world that robotics and VR teamed up is a complicated relationship. It's putting disabled and elderly people back into the workforce. But is that really the best thing for everybody? Well, now there's an entire company in Japan that is entirely staffed by disabled people who are controlling robots. So we'll talk about that over on the extended report that you can find at patreon.com/CCNT. We're also going to be talking about some hive mind theatrics, a little bit more VR, AR, MR, and then we've got some CRISPR and alien stuff that we're going to be updating everybody on too. So head over to patreon.com/CCNT. But here's the thing, folks. If you're here and you're listening to us, we know you got people in your life who are still plugged into the mainstream, baby, and you need to grab them by the cage and shake it.
Stop this progress before it is too late.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages.
Hey, stop that!
You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy.
Leave the bird alone.
Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
Look it up.
That's right. And Gons, while I give this next announcement, will you get the P.O. box ready to put out there? Because I want to again thank Pearl and her Etsy shop at PP&J Designs. Go check it out. You too can have the same Baby Yoda doll that Gons and I have, and Samurai Baby Warrior Princess loves so much. Gons, you got that P.O. box?
P.O. box for us?
For us, our P.O. box. I'm giving people the opportunity. If they have an Etsy shop or something, send us a product. Maybe we'll mention it. Sometimes people want to send us little gifts.
Okay, all right. Canary Cry Radio, P.O. Box 7383, Laguna Niguel, California, 92607.
That's right. And address it to Canary Cry Radio or Gons. If you address it to me, it will not go into the mailbox. Okay, I think that's all we got. Am I forgetting anything?
I think that's it.
I think that's it. Remember, go to canarycry.community. It's a thriving community off Facebook, away from the lizard people, of listeners and Canarians just like you. The numbers slowed down a little bit this last week, so I need to recommend people go there. We are almost to 1,000 members. Let's do this. I need 130 of you people to go join canarycry.community. Do it now. You're gonna love it. And other than that, you've been listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next week. But until then, think outside the cage. Yeah. I rebuke thee.